following is an example of how we're using sales enablement tools to increase the velocity of our ability to sell products in the oil and gas industry. So here's just an example. Ikkuma Resources came in, read the BOE report. So we're looking at multiple sources of data, and gives us a nice outline here that says they want to continue to develop their cardium and bad heart resources. And then they talk about how they're going to do it. They're going to do well density, 4 wells per section. They're going to do pads, and then they believe there's a potential of 156 wells over an 8-year period. So assuming that they can get the funding, and so they're saying here it's about a $500 million project. That this looks like a wonderful opportunity. So the first thing that we want to do when I come into it, I want to go to my CRM, and when I look at my CRM, I'm going to come in and I'm going to go to the account, and I'm going to ask myself, I'm going to take a look at it and say, okay, who do I have from a contact perspective? I want to be able to go, when we look at sales today, we know that there's multiple, large complex sales has multiple decision makers associated with it. So I want to populate my contacts as much as I possibly can. I'm going to come into to LinkedIn, and I'm going to look at all the employees inside of LinkedIn. And this is probably a diversification. When we look at employees, we've got decision makers, influencers. We want to create a perception within that account across multiple people that we are a good provider of the services that we're focused on. So I can take a look at the different, I want to put all the contacts that I can into the system. So I've got roughly about 20 contacts in LinkedIn. Wonderful place to start. I can come in here and I can select the contact. And when we look at sales enablement, I've got the highest version of LinkedIn, allowing me to look at as many contacts as I possibly can. And then I have a tool that allows me to come in and automatically insert the contacts into my instance of Salesforce, the CRM application. So it took roughly, I did it on all 27 contacts, took about 20 minutes to get all the contacts in there. So now what do we get? We get a nice list of contacts associated with the account. And then when I take a look at the contacts that I have, we start to ask ourselves, okay, we've got the contacts. Now, what role do these contacts play in our decision-making process? So, who's an influencer? What role would they play? Again, in a large complex sales, I've got multiple people that I want to be connected with and about our products and our services. The next thing that I like to do, I like to leverage our mapping technology. And when we look at the mapping technology, I like to leverage a mapping technology to allow me to look a little bit more about the account. So I'm going to just come over here and I'm going to take a look. And what I've done is I've plotted out since 2015 the wells that they've drilled, the facilities that they've put in, as well as the contacts that I have. So I have all that on the map. I can come in here to the different sections, and here's one thing that's interesting. Multiple wells, and the black dot is a battery. Some of the things that I'm looking at to help me, it said it in the article as well, but I'm looking here at all the wells that they've drilled since 2015. So we take a look at the wells that they're drilling, and then we start to break it down as what are the substances associated with the drilling, what is the board field center. I like to see a geographic reference associated with it. We can take a look at what is the terminating zone. So we see the references that they've made from a terminating zone. We can look at the field, and we see the references related to the fields that they're talking about. I'm going to leverage all of this information while I'm going through my sales process. The other thing that we take a look at, I want to look at some of the contacts that I have. So down here in Calgary are where the majority of the contacts are that we have, but we also have some field people here operating. Here's one out of Chetwynd, BC. Here's one out of Grand Prairie, and then here's one out of Hinton, Alberta. So we now have a pretty good idea of kind of how they're supporting that type of infrastructure. What I want to do, it's when we look at the process, first thing I want to make sure that I'm always doing is I want to connect to everybody inside of that organization from a LinkedIn perspective. I want to give them a reason why. Hey, I specialize in, cardium plays up in your area. I post information about that area that you might find useful in some of your planning, your drilling and facilities planning. So that gives me the ability to do that. The second thing that I want to do when I look at the contacts, I might want to go through the contacts and say to myself, okay, I've got different people that I want to talk to, and maybe we want to send some information. I've got a white paper about operations in that particular area. So I'll take a look at the different people that are associated to the operations side of things. And then once I have those people set up, I'm able to come in here and get involved with those people and send them information with regards to how we want to go in and sell our products and services to that particular group of people. So I've got my contacts associated with that, and then if I came over here, I can add these people to a campaign. But the idea behind it is I bring up that particular contact. I now have the ability to send them a pre-canned email, but is specific and relevant to their particular organization. So I could get a group of the operators, and then I could come in here and I could say, hey, here is an email template that I want to send, and it might be a customer reference story associated with that particular area. So within 1 hour, I've gone in and I've taken a look, and I see that I've got a document that talks about they're wanting to grow in that area. I've gone in and I've identified a lot of the contacts that we want to deal with. I have those contacts inside of my CRM system. I've reached out on LinkedIn to all of the contacts, asking them to connect to me so I can sell to them socially. And then I've sent them a white paper on how to do it, and potentially there's a download link so I can start to see who out of that particular group I've got engaged. That's an example of using tools, and then I've also done a deep dive into their operations so I can get a visual and contextual view of what they're doing. These are examples of sales enablement tools that increase the velocity of your sales process.